Thank you so much for tuning in. This is an awesome video regarding a very special interview with God's help we're able to do. I want to share with you guys a very special pasuk in the Torah from last week's parsha from Devarim. The last line of the Haftarah says that Zion, or Zion, shall be redeemed with justice, and her returnees with righteousness. So he explained that many explanations refer this line in the Old Testament to the concept of converts. And how converts, what does it mean, a convert? A convert is someone who converts. What does that mean? Meaning someone who converts to Judaism means they have a spark within their soul that essentially leads them to convert in a way almost beyond free choice. Because it's truly who they are. And so they push the boundaries and they go out of themselves and they're willing to go to do whatever is necessary to actualize who they truly are. And it's really an unbelievable sight because it's very rare that you find and you see a person who is willing to go the extra mile, who's doing whatever is necessary to actualize their true potential and to realize who they really are. And with that, I would like to introduce you to my dear friend Juan, who is an Asian Jew to be. So his name, Mirat Hashem, with God's help, will be
Ovadia.
And I want to introduce you and share his story for a number of reasons, but one of which many people know that I wasn't born observant, even though my family comes from a religious background, but nevertheless I wasn't born Chabad. And to come to a realization that a person's approach needs to change is not an easy approach, and to go against family is not so easy and therefore it takes a certain level of courage and perseverance that is quite rare that I've seen for someone to really actualize who they are. So I want to introduce Juan. I want to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
But you're really the main subject of our discussion today. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about kind of your story and how you came into being and how you came to Judaism.
So I grew up as a kid as so my father was a Buddhist, my mom was a Christian for generations, and I grew up in a mixed family. So I used to go to Buddhist temple on Saturdays, church on Sundays, I kind of grew up on that, and had a little bit of a foundation in Christianity. And then when I was 15, my father decided to convert to Christianity, and so they both changed to a denomination called Seventh-day Adventists, meaning the Christians who go to church on Shabbos, right? So I grew up on that, and I also went to
For how long?
How long? Like when did it start? Or?
Yeah, how long did you grow up in that? When did you start your process to Judaism?
Oh, Judaism is this about 4 years ago.
How old were you?
So that's when I was 20, but unofficially I found out about it when I was 17 or 18, or even less, somewhere around that time. And then, I went to from Christian school, like it was very firm, it was very strict, I couldn't watch television on Shabbos, it was terrible. And then I moved there.
Where?
To Canada. First I went to a place called Mississauga, and then we moved around for a bit with a little business, convenience store. And then about 7 years ago, my father passed away. And for some reason, I had an urge to search for something. It was if something was missing in me. So I went to a website once on YouTube, and there's a rabbi called Rabbi Yossi Mizrahi from Monsey. Sephardic rabbi, and he does kiruv, he debates priests, reform rabbis, etc. Very blunt rabbi. So I didn't really know anything about Judaism. I knew about Shabbos and little things here in the kashrus, but not really a lot to, practice it. And then when I saw his video, it really got me. It was emet. It was just, I couldn't explain it. Like,
It spoke to you. You felt
it just spoke to me. I didn't know what it was. Like, it was just spoke to me, and I'm like, I decided I'm gonna do it.
Do what?
I'm gonna convert. But I didn't know how.
Convert to what?
Convert to Judaism.
Why?
But I didn't know what really Judaism was, right? Because there's Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, Karaim, there's...
Why'd you decide to become Orthodox?
So there's a long thing, because first I knew there was Old Testament, right? Torah Bektav, and there's Oral Torah, but I didn't really know about the Oral Torah, so I decided to dig, upon what is Oral Torah, written Torah, what's the difference, right? How Moshe Rabbeinu got it from the Har Sinai. So I went through phases. So first I was a Karaite, because I thought, what's this Oral Torah? It's man-made, why do I do such a thing, And then I was thinking, there's one verse in the Torah that says you're not allowed to make fire on your own camp, right? So I was thinking, I was questioning myself and saying, if I make barbecue on my neighbor's property, goes back to my house, right? That's not really Shabbos, right? It doesn't make sense. There's no boundaries, there's no rules.
It doesn't speak.
It just, it doesn't make sense.
It's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, it's just chaos and just not Torah.
It's not truth. It's half truth.
It's half truth, right?
It's
So,
the real deal.
and then,
So what was the real deal for you?
about going to Orthodox Judaism, so-called, it's because I found out that Oral Torah was actually given in Mount Sinai, passed around, and it's just about the emet that in Judaism, unlike other religions, like I studied Islam, Christianity, many religions, especially Christianity, right? You go to church on Sunday or whatever day they go. That's the only day you really truly find connection to God. But Judaism, moment you wake up, or moment you're born, right? Brit Milah, Mudeani, Netilat, you're never far away from your connection to God. You're always connected.
It's an ongoing process at every moment.
Right?
It's not just a once a week
Even
thing.
as a God forbid, right? If you get caught by a Hamas terrorist, right? God forbid, and you end your life with Shema Israel, like your life is always connected to God, to birth to death.
Every moment is conscious.
Right. So that's what I found beautiful about Judaism, and then that's how I started. And then I was thinking, there's like Ashkenazi, Sephardic, this, that. So I didn't know what I was doing. So I went to shul once, and there's just 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about Judaism, no Hebrew, no nothing. And I started going to many different shuls, Asia Torah, Hasidic shuls, Sephardi shuls. And then, when I first started, first year I started, I was invited to this dinner. I had a good friend, his father is a Chassid in Toronto. He published newspapers in a shul. So he tells me there's a Chabad rabbi on campus. Why don't you go to this dinner, right? Try something new. So okay, I went. It was kind of scary at first. You go to the inside the shul, guys full of beard, hats. I'm like, it just didn't speak to me. It just looked so weird. Like, I'm a modern rabbi. And stuff like that. And okay, so I went. So back then I looked very different, I had a long hair like this, no kippah, I looked totally different. And came out of the shul. I didn't know Kaddish, no nothing. Came out of the shul. I remember 10 guys were asking me, would you like to come for Shabbos dinner? Without asking my name, where I'm from, right? What's the visit for? Right, so I'm like, oh wow, they're very nice. They look very different than me. I don't want to be part of them, but hey, like they're very nice people. So I went to my rabbi. He was very patient with me, you know, and every time he supported me, I grew from 0 to, you know, getting there, getting to 60, right? It's getting there.
What does that mean?
Meaning I'm getting there. I'm learning
So
more.
the conversion process.
Conversion process, and I'm also learning more. Thank God. Coming to this yeshiva for a bit, B'ezrat Hashem. And what I found about, that's the beauty of Chabad is that they accept anybody. They don't see the differences. They just see you as who you are. If it's a Yid, he's a Yid, right? Doesn't care about, oh, does he wear a black hat? Does he wear this? Does he have a beard? They don't care about that. So I started to study Tanya and go to Shurim classes, and I just fell in love with the concept of Avad Israel, and I started to go to Chabad shows more, and you know, here I am, thanks to the Chodesh Baruch Hu and the Rebbe, you know, I'm here.
Wow,
Thank
beautiful.
God.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your experience in coming to observant Judaism, and you know why. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to be Jewish,
Right.
right? Like, there's no pressure to be Jewish, right? Is anyone
Right.
pressuring you to be Jewish?
No.
No, right? Like, there's no pressure to be Jewish. In fact, probably the opposite, right? You're probably encouraged to not be Jewish.
Right. Right.
Right, like why you want to become Jewish, there's no point. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about like why you're so motivated, right? Like you're dealing with so much resistance, oppression, like why are you fighting? Like what are you fighting for?
So I think that I mean, first of all, emet is emet.
What does that mean?
We all know that Judaism is true. If you find out yourself, you'll know that it's true. If you're really honest by yourself, right, no biases, you'll find it's truth. At least for me. So I think, you know, I think other religions have great role in humanity. Like the Rambam says, like Islam and Christianity has paved the path to God, right? Meaning all the, let's say, Arab pagans or Christians, pagan Europeans who could have been pagans for thousands of years. Because of that, they know about oneness of God or something about God. But what I think is that you could say this from God, right? It's not the emet, it's from God. But I don't want to live in a fake reality. Yes, I could be a great Muslim or Christian, right? Believe in one God. But I think it's like there's a difference between playing in let's say baseball, right? AAA baseball and a major league. Yeah, you get the same reward. You might play the same baseball, right? You might be a great player in AAA, but that doesn't mean that you're an MLB, right? You're not the focal point of God's creation, right? So that's how I view it.
Interesting.
That's how I view it.
So you're saying Jews are the focal point of God's creation,
Right.
and that's why you want to be Jewish, because you want to play a role in God's creation.
Right.
You want to have a purpose.
Right. I want a purpose. I want to bring the godliness to the world.
Beautiful.
That's,
So
that's what
this
I
is
want.
this is actually the exact idea I want to bring out. That the beauty of a convert or someone who's in the process of conversion is the highest level. You should know it explains in Torah that the whole purpose of the Jews going into the diaspora, going into I guess outside of Israel, is to not to we don't actively convert, right? But what we do is we spread ourselves out there and we do what we need to do. Really, God does. And as a result of that, it attracts those souls of converts. It says a convert is someone who has to convert and he seeks the truth. And ultimately, a convert is someone who seeks purpose. And that's the unique benefit of not only a convert, but really a Jew or the Torah is to encourage a purposeful life.
Right.
That here, life is not about status. Life is not about the pursuit of money, hot girls, good food.
Mm-hmm.
You know, although all those things have their place. No, I'm joking. But the reality is, everything has. You know, you have to do things. Hashem has a way for us to be very happy, and we know what to stay away from. Right, to stay away from things that are not kosher, that are against the God Torah, and through staying away from those things, we focus through the process of elimination. We find what's right for us, and we find what's purposeful. And that's the distinguishing element. Distinguishing element of a person after 120 years is the question is, did they live a purposeful life?
Right.
Is there purpose in your life? Did you go just pursue temporal pleasures? Or did you have purpose in your life? Did you sacrifice? Were you willing to be up until late in the morning to disseminate a message? A purposeful life is the ultimate difference. So say l'chaim, Chafetz one is in process of accomplishing a tremendous feat. Is really, it's really an unbelievable accomplishment. And what he's doing, it's against all odds in all reality. And to pursue something with such conviction and such strength and such belief with deep purpose, it's really a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. I'm really inspired by you. And I think many people watching this will be really blown away by your story. Thank you so much.
No problem.